You can't rush perfection. Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we'll be taking a look at the history of the Starcraft franchise. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and click on the links in the description to vote on upcoming content. Blizzard time might be the only rival to Valve time when it comes to how long games take to get developed and released today, but it wasn't always that way. Back in the 90s, Blizzard Entertainment, formerly Silicon and Synapse, was still an up-and-coming developer, cranking out game after game in short succession all over the PC and console market. While games like Rock 'n' Roll Racing and The Lost Vikings would stand out as marquee accomplishments for the small company, it was perhaps surprisingly Warcraft and Warcraft 2, with their vivid colors and bright cartoony art style, that really defined the path to success for the now immortal sci-fi real-time strategy franchise, Starcraft.
It's a Zergling, Lester. Smaller type of Zerg. He can be out this far unless... Oh shit.
The development of StarCraft really began following the success of Warcraft 2: Tides of Darkness in 1995. Faced with the prospect of starting development on either a new iteration of one of their established franchises or something completely new, the team at Blizzard decided to play to their instincts in science fiction and began early conceptualization of their new title as an easy-to-develop, quick-to-churn-out game that they could release for the 1996 holiday season. With the cancellation of Shattered Nations, another real-time strategy Blizzard had in development, an influx of developers found themselves working on the title that would later take on the name StarCraft, a science fiction spin on the fantasy series that they were already quite well known for.
You want a piece of me, boy? You know I...
Despite the overall satisfaction of the team with their early work, the rushed release projections clearly shone through in the demonstration that Blizzard threw together for E3 1996. Built on the Warcraft engine to save on development time, StarCraft failed to impress those that got the chance to see it in person. The user interface was difficult to read, the colors were saturated to the point of being kinda ugly, and most players wrote the game off as being way too similar to its fantasy inspirations, dubbing it Orcs in Space, a nickname that would not only bruise the egos of the development team, but also radically alter the development trajectory of the title.
The equipment demonstration you requested is prepared and may be initiated at your convenience.
With this unimpressive showing now behind them, the company quickly realized that there was no way StarCraft could be launched in time for Christmas 1996 in a playable state. Focus instead shifted to the development of the pitched Diablo title from Condor, a development studio that was struggling to finance both the development of new titles and contract work. Quick to seize the opportunity, the studio was acquired by Blizzard Entertainment and renamed to Blizzard North, and thus the development of Diablo took center stage as the marquee fourth quarter release of 1996, barely making it out before the new year, but shelving StarCraft in the process.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and...
With another massive success under their collective belts, people loved Diablo, Blizzard developers reconvened in 1997 with fresh eyes to look at the state of StarCraft. With a growing reputation for impressive polished games and a surge of real-time strategy games in development that promised to be stiff competition, the studio could no longer take the risk of releasing the game that played and looked as poorly as it did, and decided to take a bit more time with making StarCraft, releasing the game only when it was deemed finished and ready. It was a big decision at the time, but stands strong today as a mantra that gamers are all too familiar with.
There's single-player campaigns, one for each side. The storyline is actually set up so that they are consecutive.
Key to this reimagining was the reworking of the aesthetics of the title, prompting art director Samwise Didier and artist Trevor Jacobs to toss ideas around, quickly and efficiently using easily created assets like rectangles, squares, and triangles to create the impression of logical, coherent shapes, and then building on those foundations and giving the ensuing structures and units names. This led to the early visual differentiation of the three races, with each of the Protoss, Terran, and Zerg being inspired by circular, rectangular, and triangular forms respectively, which would give the artists a guiding, unifying design for each race. Despite this new flurry of creativity, however, new problems emerged over at Blizzard HQ. Realizing that the existing Warcraft engine wouldn't be enough to support StarCraft as an independent release, as well as the title being primed for launch on Microsoft Windows platforms instead of MS-DOS like the previous games, the coders needed to quickly rewrite an engine from scratch in a language that they had little prior experience in, C++. Furthermore, the art team was struggling to cope with the change from hand-drawn pixel graphics to 3D models, which further hampered development. All of these radical changes in the way that games were made led to a tense situation where the timely realization of the project was never assured. With a release window on the horizon, Blizzard was forced to cut corners in basically any way they could. Unit voices were recorded by staff members who made the shrieking, snarling sounds of the Zerg. The plot was developed in brainstorming sessions that focused on multi-purpose major set pieces first, and how to link them all together second, and the code was notoriously difficult to work with, which led to frequent crashes and bugs that plagued early test builds, and encouraged coders to sometimes spend upwards of 40 hours in a single session of frantic work to have the game playable, let alone polished, for their final release in 1998. Through all of these limiting factors though, the dedication to the project kept spirits high despite delays in the shipment of their final product. And it's undoubtedly this passion surrounding the title that led to its success, because the game basically exploded in popularity all over the world. Selling in the millions and earning a much-loved expansion, Brood War, just a few months later, it was the game's multiplayer that quickly became the driving factor of sales success, with a high skill ceiling and diverse strategies among the three races driving it to become the premier esport in South Korea, gaining viewers and big prize pools as early as 2002. While Starcraft entered among a sea of real-time strategy competitors, it emerged as the undisputed champion of the genre and remained unmatched in popularity until 2010, when it received its long-awaited sequel, StarCraft II: Wings of Liberty, and many years later, a remaster.
Hell, it's about time.
Sure, the real-time strategy genre might be fading, and the esports crown has definitely been passed off for the likes of MOBAs and first-person shooters, but StarCraft will always remain not only one of the most celebrated accomplishments of one of the best game developers ever, but a pop culture icon whose influence won't be fading anytime soon. See you on BattleNet. Oh wait, they shut that down.
Glad to see you, boys. Time to kick some serious butt.
Thanks for watching Mojo Plays. Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.